Okay, welcome. Happy Tuesday. My name is Tori. For those of you I haven't gotten a chance to meet yet, I am a marketing director on this team Legacy Peak alongside of some other amazing marketing directors. And we are just so thrilled about this opportunity today to get to hear from a brand new national marketing director, Heather. She's going to share her story. So Heather, I'm so excited that you're taking the time to share with us. We're just so looking forward to learning from you. So I'm just going to have you share your story. I also would love to ask you a few questions that I know would just be so helpful.
Yeah.
Also, if you are live on Facebook, we would love for you to say hello. Let us know you're live there. Feel free to jump over on Zoom though, because we do love to see your face. And that's one of the benefits of Zoom is just getting to all pop in and say hi. You can just be yourself and come as you are. But it is also awesome to be able to, yes, just show your face, smile. We get to just do this as we are. And that's the beauty of it, just from wherever we are. So whatever we're doing, Emily's getting her steps in. I'm so proud of you, Emily, bundling up. I love that. She is committed. So love being able to tune in from wherever. And Heather, I'm just going to have you go ahead and introduce yourself and take it away. I know you're in St. Louis though, or just outside of St. Louis. So yeah, we'd love to just hear your story.
Well, good. Well, I'm glad to share it. I feel like I've been sharing it a lot lately. Of course, I got the opportunity at our conference in Atlanta to share on stage. And then, of course, I did the Campbell team call this past, I guess it was a week ago or 2 weeks ago. So I feel like my story's been out there for sure, but I do love my story. And I do love that it brought me to where I am today. So my name is Heather Koenig, and I live in Eureka, Missouri. And my husband, Mark, and I have 3 boys, 2 in college and 1 that's a high school senior. And so they're a huge part of my why I'm kind of where I am today. And I'm so thankful that this business has allowed me to just be involved in all parts of their lives for sure. So I'm also a registered dietitian. That's what I went to school for. I went to the University of Kentucky. I knew very early on I wanted to be a registered dietitian, and I'll tell you more about that in a minute. And moved to St. Louis to do my internship at Barnes after I graduated, ended up getting an MBA here at Webster, and really thought I would be doing something very different than what I am today. But our family heard about Juice Plus 18 years ago from someone like at a little vendor fair, actually. And I was sitting right next to her and she told me about Juice Plus. And, as a dietitian, we are taught to get our nutrition from food, not supplementation. And so dietitians feel pretty strongly about that. However, I really thought what she was telling me about this wonderful whole food product made sense. And so my father, as a retired dentist, he and I spent quite a bit of time looking into the research, watching the video that she shared with me. And it just made sense because it was bioavailable. That was really what stuck out to me probably the most, is that our cells would use it. And it wasn't just something that, we would eat and then lose in our urine. And so I thought, gosh, this could really benefit our family. And, I knew right what to feed my kids as a dietitian. I've learned that, right? Many of us know, but in reality, 3 kids under the age of 5, and they were all somewhat picky eaters. It just was not happening. And that really bothered me. And so we decided to get started on Juice Plus when they were young. And I was pretty firm about the decision that this was going to happen and they were going to take it. And that's just how this was going to be. So I did find 65 gummies one time between the car seat and the car. My middle son, Connor, decided that he didn't want to take those. So he put them in his cheek and then put them there on the way to preschool, but that's okay. I learned from that, and he is one of my best consumers now for sure. And so, I really had no intention of this being a business. We were very happy consumers. Our family was on on it. My parents wanted to get started. So we did sign up to be a partner with the company and have that option to get some money back, which was fabulous. But I was busy with my kids. I had another job, and it really just wasn't something I even entertained doing. Although I certainly had people reach out to me about that possibility. And so for many years, I just respectfully declined many invitations to learn more. But I did occasionally go to an event just so that I, didn't always have to say no. And it didn't really do much for me. But about 7 years ago, our situation changed. Our financial situation changed. My husband's business, unfortunately, went under, and I was working some different, I had some different things going on the side. I had a catering business, but I wasn't really working full time, and we knew that something needed to change quickly. So it was a scary time. We were really, really struggling, and we just weren't quite sure what that was going to look like in terms of staying in our home, if our kids were going to have to get out of the select sports that we were able to put them in. And that just really, really bothered me. And around that time, I, had been talking to my uplines, not going to much, but they just said, why don't you come to the Phoenix conference? And that was in March of 2016. And so I said, well, I can't pay for gas in my car, so I'm probably not going to go to a conference in Phoenix, but thank you for asking. And really, they just encouraged me, that if I didn't take a look at this, nothing might change. But if I did, potentially something could change. And so I was actually scholarship to go to that conference, and I was off and running. I went. I didn't expect to come back feeling the way I did, but it was incredible. And so that conference really changed everything for me in terms of how I looked at this as a business. I already loved the product. I've been a regular consumer since day one, and so has our family. And I really loved the community. I could tell it was wonderful people, just the little bit of involvement I was having. But the business, and then just seeing really the education. I love being educated on a product that I'm putting in our bodies, and that, of course, my parents were taking. And so that was really exciting to me. And I just came back knowing that this was going to be the solution. Number one, I loved what I was learning. Number two, I just saw this as a vehicle really to change, our financial picture. And so it was then that I set my goal to be a national marketing director in 5 years. I had learned at that conference about the full benefits package for health and dental, vision, tuition reimbursement. And I knew we needed that. And I saw this as something I could also do, at home. And that really excited me. I'd always been able to be in a position where I was home with my kids, and in that short time where things were so terrible and I hadn't started with Juice Plus, I was away from the home, and it just really bothered me. It's just not what I wanted. And so, I came back with that 5-year goal, and I got there in 6 years. So I don't know how much of that detail you want me to go into, Tori, in terms of, how I got there. Maybe if you want to ask me questions, but that's kind of my story.
That's amazing. Yeah. I just think we talk about a lot the power of Juice Plus Live. And I think your story is a perfect example of why Juice Plus Live is so powerful. So when you went to that first conference, I'm just kind of curious, was it anything like what you thought it was going to be? Obviously hearing the stories, what would you say to a new person about Juice Plus Live?
Yeah, well, so I have been in the professional world and been to other conferences before. And so I, was familiar with what a large company conference might be like. But of course, I was just amazed by, the warmness of the community, and meeting so many wonderful people that actually seemed to care that they were meeting me. It just was, that part was unusual. I really said at that conference, barring any major tragedy or something that just you can't miss, like a wedding or a funeral, I will be at every conference until I reach my goal, and of course beyond.
Yeah.
Because I really saw that as, we call it in the business big rock events, as you all know, but it just, to me, there isn't any other way. If you are committing to a business like this, any large corporation is going to have you go to their major conferences. I mean, but to me, it's not even really what you hear from stage, because a lot of that we're going to get in other vehicles. We'll learn that information. Maybe not as soon, but we will. But it's just the experiences with meeting other people, the experiences with your team in the hotel rooms, on the airplane, at meals, that just bond you together on a mission that I think is really what you can't replace in any other way, not virtually, or not, you can't get it if you're not there.
Yes. And there's this vision I feel like you walk away with that you can't just get from anywhere else. And it's just, really very powerful. So I'm so grateful that you got that opportunity to just soak that in. And I think it's so fun that we're going back to Phoenix here, April 20th through the 22nd. So go ahead and just mark your calendars now and start planning and make the decision now that you're coming with us. We're doing a drawing for those of you that decide to purchase your tickets. Now in November, we're going to draw and give away one conference ticket. So, and if you then turn around and help someone buy their conference ticket, your name gets entered in again to the drawing. So, okay, I'm going to kind of circle back around and ask you just a few questions, maybe more starting with the product, but then we'll go into like team. So you heard about Juice Plus at the vendor. And I'm just curious, what did she share with you, or what did that person share with you?
It was a small little event. I was actually selling jewelry on the side at the time. So we were sitting next to each other and no one was there at the time. And she, her father was a physician, and she just had kids of her own, 4 little kids of her own. I had 3, and she just really shared about very, I don't know, she's just very laid back about it. It was not high pressure. It was just sort of sharing that this worked for her family. And if I was interested, she'd love to share more. And she gave me like a CD to come home and listen to. And, I didn't listen to it for probably a month. And I can't even remember, honestly, if she followed up with me. I think I reached back out to her after I had the chance to listen to it.
Okay.
So,
well, we always say the people that actually reach back out to you are probably going to be like partners and maybe even future national marketing directors, right? Because that's not very likely that people reach back out to you. It's all about the follow-up. But it is interesting to me that you reached back out to her. There was obviously something there that was just powerful and stood out to you.
And I did actually ask, because my youngest was 1, I did reach out to our pediatrician, who I love and we still use. And I asked him what he thought about getting Carson on it, because he was 1. And he said, absolutely. And I said, well, then why didn't you tell me when Nate was 1? Because he's been dealing with asthma and allergies, and he's on an inhaler. And he was like, well, it's just, I don't remember his exact answer, but I just remember thinking, gosh, his children were on it. I wish he would have told me.
Wow.
My kids were little. So my oldest was younger, I guess what I'm saying.
Yes. Wow. And that was a while ago. So, well, yeah, it stands out to me. Julie just commented that my mom reached back out to the person that shared with her. So that's why that stood out to me, because she's the one that called her back and said, I want some. And I love that you called out your pediatrician. You did too, Carrie. I love that. Mm-hmm. So, well, I never had that opportunity to call my mom back and let her know, because she just decided for me. But I am just, it's just so powerful that this has been around for as long as it has. And that, look, your pediatrician was embracing it, and why wasn't that pediatrician sharing it with his patients? So I'm curious, as a dietitian, you kind of mentioned dietitians obviously are all about getting our nutrients from food. So what do you think it is that makes dietitians maybe closed off to Juice Plus?
What can we say?
And what can we say to help
I wish I knew what to tell you to say other than to connect them maybe with a dietitian in the business. I don't know what it is. I don't want to say that. I mean, I love what I do. I have other fellow dietitian friends, but I think that many just really feel strongly that they know best and kind of don't want to be told that someone else has a nutrition solution other than them. For me, it's just, and again, I was educated, what are we talking, 20, I mean, over 20 years, 25 years ago, I don't know, things change, right? And if you're not keeping on top of it, I mean, we definitely have to keep up with our continuing education hours, but much of the Juice Plus education that I receive is approved for that, which is pretty incredible for my CEUs that I have to keep up with. And so, I just think that sharing for me, what got to me was about my family, not so much, the business piece of it, but it was just that knowing that the family could benefit from this. And that was the very most important thing to me. And I was just open to knowing that, yeah, I know what to eat. I was probably one of those dietitians. I hated vegetables till I was about 30. I don't think I ate more than one or two. And so, here I was educating people before I was even eating them myself. But I think that was just an eye opener for me too. And I just think getting them on a three-way connection is probably the very best thing with someone in the medical arena, maybe.
Well, I think that's a powerful takeaway because I think professionals need to be cared for, right? First, just personally, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, the fact that, yeah, the why that made you cry was really what ended up being the thing that changed everything about your story. So it's so true. And I think just taking care, if we are sharing with a professional, just taking care of them personally first and loving on their family is powerful. Okay. So now I'm curious. We always love to ask the new national marketing directors, can you just give us a glimpse of who are your 5 lines and where they came from? Because I think it's so fun to see. And for those of us envisioning, who are my 5 lines going to be? Where are they going to come from? So I'm curious.
Well, and I love that question because that was my question. Like, it seems, when you really think about it, that's not crazy a lot,
No, 5, yeah.
Like, that's pretty reasonable.
One hand.
And to that point, you're like, okay, I just need 1 or 2 more. And where the heck are they going to come from?
Yes.
So I guess, the very first person I shared Juice Plus with was a friend of mine. Her son was the same age as my oldest son. And so we had been friends through, really since preschool, I guess. And I probably shared about that our family was taking Juice Plus. And she was one of I had about 20 customers, just friends I'd accumulated as customers over the years in those 11 years where I wasn't, working the business, but I was consuming the product. So she was one of those people. And as I was starting to talk to my upline right before that conference, when I came, I think it was maybe right before conference, because she tells me a story now that I did not remember. We were walking and I remember saying, you actually could get some money back on this product. That's what we do. And, I hid behind that a lot. And so I said that to her and that made sense to her. And she immediately got her family started. That was really the gist of it. But, so her name is Angie and she is still on my team. And she's actually my first senior sales coordinator that we just celebrated at this last conference. But what's interesting is she tells the story now. As I was working on my story, she reminded me, she goes, that Phoenix conference you went to? She goes, I was hoping you would invite me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how terrible. Here I was barely thinking about going myself, but I guess I was talking about it because we would walk all the time. And she's like, if you would have invited me, I would have gone. And I just, we live and learn. I didn't even remember that was the way that story went. But anyway, so Angie is one of my lines. I then have another girlfriend that is from just again, our kids were about the same age. My middle son and her middle son are the same age. We've been in PTO together, that kind of thing. Fitness instructor, just someone that I probably shared with the same way. That was another line. The third line is a friend that lives in the Eureka area. She didn't come to things for a very long time, but she is a business owner. But once she actually owns Sarah's cake shop, Sarah's on Central. But once, she started coming to things, she just the whole business side of it, she's pretty savvy in that area. And it just, she was pretty good at growing her business fairly quickly. She's an influential person in that she knows people, that kind of thing. And she's also a very good friend. Our kids are the same age, neighbor, that type of thing. Those two are kind of similar. And then my fourth line was actually a girl that has done my nails for years. We went to the same church. She did my nails, and I would share with her, of course, whenever I was in to get my nails done or whatever. And I would always invite her to things. And she's never came to anything, not anything, but her daughter was getting ready to, she played high school volleyball and was getting ready to, I think maybe she was like a sophomore and thinking she'd want to play collegiately. And so there was an athlete's call. And so I invited my friend Lisa that I had gotten to know through basically manicures and such, to get on this athlete's call. And she called me as soon as the call was over and said, I'd like to get my daughter and I signed up to take the product, her daughter, Tori, and herself. And so they did. And, it was really, I've been able to have bi-weekly, or I guess bi-monthly meetings with her for many years now because I get my nails done. And honestly, she really grew her business starting with the Omegas because that was just an easy conversation for her to have. She's evolved so much. So there's so much more to her than that, but that's basically where that line came from. And then my fifth line is my husband. And I'll say that I've helped quite a bit with that, but he is from St. Louis. He's a very social person. He loves the product. I mean, he's been diligent since day one and always supported me. And so he, brings a lot of people to me. I had to help him he used to say, oh, I got a sale today. I'm like, oh, well, do you have the credit card? And he said, no. I said, well, then you don't have the sale. So, kind of helping him in that process, but he's very passionate about it.
Awesome. Thank you for a glimpse of that. I love all the comments as well in here. People that you are already doing life with, people you're already doing business with. People that are already influential in the community, business owners, all that. I love that. So yeah, it's really fun to hear those connections. Okay. I have a couple last questions. So I just want to highlight, you shared with me just before when we were chatting the Zoom, where is the person today that shared Juice Plus with you? Is that person still around?
She is not. I don't even actually think, we're actually very friendly still. I think I got to QSC and didn't know how to place an order. So I would just always reach out to her and say, hey, Jill, can you help me, place this order? And she would. She wasn't actively doing the business. She had just a few customers. And so
yeah,
my current upline was above her and just started, really pouring into me. Yeah. And at some point she just, I don't know if she still takes it or not, but I know she's not in the business.
Well, I think it's very powerful that it's not always that exact, don't ever quit. I love that. But
For
it's
sure.
also powerful that now if you think about the direct people, like who do they know that now here you are, the new national marketing director, and you didn't directly know the person that you work with now. So I'm just encouraging those of you to think about not just who you know, but who they know and how you can reach down, not just to that person directly, but even reach down even further and even further into these connections. Okay. And this is a what question. So walking away from, well, first of all, I love that you said, I used to hide behind kind of like, oh, you could get some money back. This is a two-part question, maybe like what shifted when you decided not to hide behind that? And maybe what are you doing differently since Phoenix conference? Because obviously you've made a decision to be more bold. And I'm guessing since conference, or you're going to continue on in that boldness. So could you just paint that picture for us?
Sure. Well, I guess, sharing the product has always been easy for me, especially as a dietitian. I mean, it's something I'm just so passionate about. I have to like really hold myself back because I can just, don't ask me a nutrition question if you don't want the answer, because I love to talk about it. And so I think I just stayed in that space and I was getting customers. And so that just felt like success to me. And I sort of convinced myself that I was going to be just fine there. I was probably one of those people, I don't want to say too cool, because it's not that I just thought, well, I'm not going to sell. I'm not a salesperson, and I'm not going to ask my friends to buy. I was kind of all those things we hear. I was probably one of those people. And I don't know. I'm not sure exactly. I think it's just been personal development, honestly, along the way. And seeing what it can do. I mean, it's been very impactful for our family. And,
Continuing to show up.
Yeah, I'm not going to say I'm a rock star at sharing the business, because I'm not. I can still grow in that area a ton. But I do feel like it is can be as life-giving as the product for some. And, I do have a lot of people that I would say I have a lot of P pluses so I do really I'll at least share that. Why wouldn't you at least get, a little bit back on your product a lot? And so moving those people to the QSC then is just always the goal, right? So continue to work on that.
Awesome. So is that, okay, that was a beautiful answer. And then what about like walking away from Phoenix? What
Phoenix, Atlanta.
I'm sorry, Atlanta. Walking into Phoenix, and what your takeaway from Atlanta? Was it just so powerful to share your story on stage? And
it was. I wish I could do it again, because now maybe some of those nerves have worked through. It was. I had a vision. My name was my team name, Team Freedom, was a driving thing for me. I kind of had this vision about being in my power color green and having my family up there with me. And it all happened. And to get, my kids are older. And so just getting them all in one place was, kind of an act of God. And I'm just really thankful that happened. And it was very motivating for me. I was like, this will be me someday. I will do this, and so but I do feel like I'm more excited than ever. The journey the last few months to NMD made me realize this is almost like a starting place. Now I feel like I'm almost starting my business again. And there's I want to help the girls on my team that have goals. That to me is so exciting. Like that might be my most favorite part. And then really just looking to kind of start my business again. And who else can I help get started in the business?
I love that. Well, we think your NMD dress.
I was going to say, I have a comment. Your dress, not your dress, you in your dress.
You in your dress. There you go.
Incredible.
Oh, thank you.
Loved it.
Thank you.
I love.
Yeah, when you only have one color, it makes the search a little hard. Found a lot of great outfits, but they weren't all green. So
yeah, you're like, if I could just take a magic wand and make that green.
Right.
Well, it's beautiful that you had the vision of what color you wanted to be in and how you wanted it to look and feel. And I think being emotionally attached to what our goal is such a big thing. And, really just most of us are comfortable with the excitement around the power of plants and how that can make a difference for people, but making that shift to like, what could this actually be for my family? What if I actually embrace this and share in boldness? And what's that quote that Kurt Beaver says? If you're going out looking for,
if you're looking for customers, you're going to find customers. But if you're looking to grow a team, that you'll also find customers, but you'll find team. So he always says, focus on the team, the customers will come.
Customers come anyways,
Yeah.
But how powerful is it when we can turn around and help somebody else have more freedom because of this reoccurring income and the gift of this business. So I am so grateful that you took the time to share with us. I know that you shared on the Campbell team call. So of course she has an amazing recording, but it's so fun to see your face and to just have it be more personal and to
well, thank you. It was such an honor to get to be with you all. And I know I am blessed by so many of you on the screen. I, loved your trainings and learned so much from you all. And so I love that we can kind of all do it together and just appreciate the opportunity.
Awesome. Well,
All right.
thank you so much, Heather. I think one of my favorite takeaways is if you would have invited me, I would have come. And my mom always says the answer is no, always no, unless you ask. And so
For
I'm
sure.
sure going into Phoenix now, you're not going to let that comment get in the way.
Right.
You don't want to hear that comment anymore from anyone.
No.
You're going to invite all your people. So
Awesome.
awesome.
Thank you, Heather.
so
That was
much.
wonderful. Thank you so
all.
much.
Have a
Feel
good
free to
day.
unmute and let